Now, personal development is something I'm very much attached to because I built up from scratch, knowing nothing about production, knowing nothing about TV broadcasting, about TV, nothing. When I say nothing, I started off of nothing, but I invested so much in myself to be able to deliver what I do today, and I still have a long way to go. Absolutely long way to go. We always ask ourselves what the government has done, what others have done to help us through, but the question is, what are you doing? That's personal development. So regardless of the circumstances around, are you using the tools that you have close to you to be able to develop yourself to be a better person? Question mark. Our guest today, a Cameroonian that I have a lot of respect for, great ambitions. He is not afraid to try new things. And of course, when you say new things in 2019, 2020, it's all about technology. So hey, how is technology relevant and how can we use technology to improve ourselves? Let's talk to our guest who shares tools on how we can innovate and how we can develop ourselves personally despite the difficult times. Maybe this is just a way to push the world to being 10 times better than it was. It's Asong Lekeaka. Now, this topic is one that is extremely exciting for me because I've spent so many years trying to build myself up. And before I kicked off on that journey, I did not exactly pay attention as to what exactly personal development meant for me. But so many years down the line, I figured out, oh, what I've been doing is developing myself. And today I'm sharing this platform with somebody I've known for a very short time, but we've had insightful exchanges. And I know that with everything that's happening in the world today and the digital age, we need to upgrade. So thank you, Asong, for being with us today. I am so honored that you were able to find some time to have this chat with us. So today we'll be talking about personal development. In your opinion, what exactly is personal development?
Well, thank you for having me. I know we've only known each other briefly, but it truly is a pleasure to have this opportunity to chat with you. So again, thanks once again for having me and for this platform. So personal development is, in a nutshell, is any activity that improves your overall well-being. So for me, that is the totality of who you are mentally, physically, spiritually, and relationally. So yeah, that is my simplistic way of thinking about personal development.
Yeah, personal development. What's your appreciation of personal development within the African sphere?
So within the African sphere, I think that personal development is extremely important because our communities are very tight-knit. So each individual, if I were to take myself for example, I think about my development as one that impacts those that are after me, being the oldest of siblings, and as well as those that I'm connected to either through relationships, friendships, and things of that nature. So within the African context, it's really important because one person's personal development truly can influence and impact a multitude of people.
Now, in the African environment where unemployment rates are extremely high, you find young people, spending a lot more money on social activities to, distract themselves, which ends up being more expensive, honestly. How do you think that personal development could be valuable in an environment like that, in circumstances like that?
Yeah, so I think you're asking about unemployment rates and the cost of personal development, but I think it doesn't necessarily have to cost. So I like to think, again, a very simplistic way of personal development, where there's nothing wrong with spending on social activities and things of that nature, but it's really important that you think about who you are and what your goals are. So I think that There's several aspects of personal development that are not tied to any sort of financial expense. And some examples would be creating goals for yourself that are specific.
Is surrounding yourself with the right people. It is extremely important. It is key to surround yourself with the right energy, especially if you have a vision in mind. Surround yourself with the people who are there or who are going in the same direction. Now, culturally, you get tagged, how do I say, interested or taking advantage or despising others if you only want to identify yourself with a certain kind of people. We live in a community situation, and most of the time being able to attend to others means you have to spend a lot of time and energy with those who need you versus those whom you need, right? So how do you deal with that mentally, and how do you engage with others to get them to understand that you have to be able to focus on yourself to be able to help others?
That's true. That's such an important point you're making. And the way I have heard it described is, you can't pour from an empty vessel. So, you need, in as much as you are a resource for others, you yourself need resources for yourself, so that you can continue to serve that role within your community on.
Yeah, exactly. I would agree with that. Another situation we're facing right now during this pandemic is understanding that the digital is the way forward. Now, many African businesses are highly commercial, right? And for that to be able to happen, we have to gravitate towards e-commerce, but we don't have the right infrastructure for that. How do you suggest we can deal with the low internet penetration and the poor reception issues we face?
For one, the technology piece of internet speeds and access, that is something that one single individual cannot solve, right? So the responsibility there would be on government partners, telecom service providers. The second piece of it is, what can your typical business person do in the meantime? So in the meantime, I think that business owners and anyone that is interested in business has to really be proactive in finding out what can you do today, given what speeds you have today, given what applications are out there, and become a little bit more literate with regards to digital tools.
Now, social media platforms have great professional advantages, which the digital use more for social media, social purposes and for entertainment purposes. So could you enlighten us on how beneficial this could be, and what are some of those tools that we could use from social media platforms? Yeah.
The professional aspects are just as readily available to everyone. And one of the ways that you can think about, or people can think about the value of social media for their professional success, is to think about how much visibility you can bring to your skills, to your background, to your profession, or even look for more access to areas of interest that benefit you.
For those who feel like they need growth in their businesses, what are some of the tips you can give so that they start redirecting their thoughts that way?
The first place is to always focus on what problem you're trying to solve. I think it's really important that when you're planning for the future, you're doing it intentionally and with purpose. And the first piece of it is truly articulating your problem. And once you understand your problem, write it down. Really, truly write it down. Document it as best as you can. Where there are numbers, write down the numbers associated with it, and focus on what actually motivates you the most. Where you're most passionate, you actually will be in a position to transcend every obstacle because you're driven and motivated by something that makes you happy and something that fulfills you. So, and then learn fast. So in times of crisis and in good times, you should always be in a state of learning, continuous state of learning.
At what point do you identify, okay, right now I need some personal development?
I think you said it right there. Things are always changing, and so my mindset is that I always need personal development. I always need an upgrade. So I never think that I have it all figured out or that I am in a stable situation. And I think that's that's the beautiful part about technology. Is the moment you actually start to think that this is it, then you're already behind because something new is coming.
Thank you so much for your time. I intend to invest some more in myself. You know, the world is changing, things are changing, and it's never really going to stop. So as long as you're alive, I guess what you have to do is upgrade at every step of the way. So I intend to look out for the things I could do at this point in time which don't make me feel like I'm under pressure. Because the challenge with some of the people I've spoken to right now is they feel like they absolutely have to invest in themselves now more than ever so that they don't feel like a waste. But it's okay to take a break, and resource yourself and then come back. So, absolutely.
And focus on the things that make you happy so it doesn't feel like work.
Exactly. So keeping that in mind, stay happy, people. Like, always keep a smile on your face no matter what. And even if you're breaking down, it's okay. Let yourself break down, catch a deep breath, and then come back fighting, because you've only got you in this world to put a smile on. And thank you so much for your time, Asong. I really appreciate that you could create time for us and the insightful information you've shared with us.
I just want to give a special shout out to the Miss P Show.
I want to give a huge shout out to Miss P.
I want to give a big shout out to the Miss P Show.
Shout out to the Miss P Show.
Soyez toujours connectés avec Miss P Show.
Keep watching the Miss P Show, your #1 platform.
A special big shout out to the Miss P Show.
Keep watching the Miss P Show.
The Miss P Show. Simply deep.
Now, as we get used to the COVID crisis, I know it's difficult, but we're adapting, we're adjusting, and we're making new moves towards how we want tomorrow to be. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope you retain key elements on how you can take one step further into taking your business into the digital world, or the thing you're passionate about into the digital world. Now check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Miss P Show. Leave a comment, ask questions, leave recommendations. We are here for you. Until next time, I'm Miss P, and I'm Simply Deep. Ta-da!
The Miss P Show was brought to you by Orange.